27 years ago when I was 13 years old, and here I am to tell you about it. And that's not because of me, and that's not because of anything special. It's because of the thousands and millions of people who have had a hand in helping to bring awareness about this disease over the years. So I thank you so much for your hard work and compassion. And I want to share a piece with you I wrote when I was at the Candlelight Vigil, my very first Candlelight Vigil in 1992 in Washington, D.C. Today I went to the park. I molded with the crowd and lit my candle and began a journey. Blindly at first, I marched down Pennsylvania Avenue, each step of my foot covering a moment in my mind. One foot forward and there was that little girl I used to know. Another short step and I knew that the knight in shining armor and horse were dreams of dust. One more foot and the last box of my childhood joys was neatly packed away. Heel to toe and sweet 16 leaves a bitter taste in my mouth. HIV crept along my path and covered it with shadows. There were no pom-poms, no prom gown now. I had to decipher my doctor's jargon. I rounded the curve to see where else I had been, and I had to catch my breath. I saw them saying, "You can't come in." I felt them not touching me, and not kindness, nor intellect, nor beauty could change their minds. The world had turned its back to wish me away, so I fell to my knees to wish them love. People on the sides asked, "Why are you marching?" And so I asked them, "Why don't you know?" Ahead, a flicker broke my reverie, and it was then that I knew this was not a strange journey. I was strong then, for they knew where they were going, and they had already gone. I took another step and faced myself. I was not broken anymore. I saw a young woman who was struggling to gather as many moments as she could. I saw a pioneer who was not afraid to speak out, nor to cry out. I saw a little girl who was no longer afraid to reach out. I trusted what I saw and I followed. I was blind no more. Beside me there were flickers. It was then that I was angry at the injustice of it all. Somebody stole yesterday, cried rain on today, and hid tomorrow's sun. And all the malice that I must accept from you who watch my journey and pretend it's not yours too. Rage kept my feet one in front of the other. Behind me there were flickers. It was then that I was sad. Sad because fear has frozen your tongues and makes you answer your children's questions with still lips. And all those who are stricken by self-righteousness have barred the doors to the house of God as if to deny us heaven. I offer to you my words of wisdom, but your pride has your ears held fast. You can't hear me yelling, "Go back, go back." On I marched until I could feel the heat of so many flickers. I was sure we were blazing. I passed a pool and my thoughts were reflected there. I marched until old Abe was before me, and I studied his verse, and I pitied the world's forgetfulness. I wanted so much to climb on his lap and ask him, "Do you know what has happened?" I needed to whisper my outrage and speak my pain away. Surely he would be grief-stricken and awake. But his eyes remained dull and his hands did not tremble. The mighty lawmakers did not hear me, although I was sure they were watching the flickers too. Then I turned and I was drowned by that sea of flickers, those who followed, those who marched too. I pondered those lives, all those lives. It was then that I knew what I must do. I carried my small flicker away from the others, back into the darkness, to those that were blinded by ignorance, to unbar the church doors, to answer the children, to embrace my sister, to carry my brother, to hope that my flicker could help them to see and know and feel. Now there are many windy days, and they try to silence me in a wisp of smoke, but nothing short of my last breath can do that. America the beautiful, love conquers all but death. This is no day at the park.